Imagine waking up to a world untamed, where the air hums with the calls of creatures long extinct, and every step you take is a gamble with survival. It's 100,000 years ago, and you're a Homo sapiens, one of our earliest ancestors, living in a time when the earth was both a cradle and a crucible. Could you endure? Let's step into their world, not the simplistic caves and clubs of cartoons, but a vibrant, perilous existence that demanded ingenuity, resilience, and a profound connection to the land. You open your eyes at dawn, the chill of the African savanna prickling your skin. Your shelter, a fragile weave of branches and hides, barely holds back the wind. No alarm clocks here, just the rustle of predators or the distant trumpeting of a mammoth. Your stomach gnaws with hunger, a constant companion. Food isn't guaranteed. It's earned through sweat, skill, and sometimes blood. Archaeological evidence from sites like Blombos Cave in South Africa reveals that our ancestors were already sophisticated foragers. They didn't just stumble upon berries or scavenge scraps. You'd be part of a group, moving with the seasons, tracking the subtle signs of ripening fruits or migrating herds. Ostrich eggshells, etched with patterns, show they carried water across arid lands, planning for scarcity. Could you read the land like that, noticing the faint trail of an antelope, or the bloom of a wild tuber? Hunting was no brute charge. At sites like Pinnacle Point, researchers found sharpened stone points, surly spears crafted with precision. You'd learn to chip flint until your hands bled, shaping tools that could pierce, hide, or scrape meat. But it wasn't just about the kill. You'd stalk for days, reading tracks, coordinating with your group through gestures and calls. Ethnographic studies of modern hunter-gatherers like the Hadza suggest these hunts were communal, with roles for everyone: trackers, runners, even children as lookouts. Success meant feasting, failure meant hunger and danger. Always a misstep could leave you gored by a buffalo or mauled by a leopard. Fossils from this era show healed fracturous proof of survival, but also of care. Your group didn't abandon the injured. They carried them, shared food, even buried their dead with ochre and tools, as seen in Israel's Kafsa cave. Would you have that loyalty, that trust in others, to face the wild together? Your days weren't just survival. You'd create ochre, ground into vivid reds and yellows. Wasn't just painted, was meaning. At Blombos, archaeologists found 100,000-year-old toolkits for mixing pigments, hinting at rituals, body art, or symbols. You might smear ochre on your skin, not for vanity, but to signal your place in the group: hunter, elder, or storyteller. Shell beads, delicately pierced, adorned necks, showing care for beauty, even in hardship. Language, though not yet written, was alive. Linguistic studies suggest early humans used complex vocalizations, perhaps proto-words, to share stories around flickering fires. Picture yourself there, the night sky blazing with stars, recounting a hunt or a dream. Could you weave a tale that binds your group, that makes the darkness less vast? But life was fragile. No hospitals, no antibiotics. A cut could fester, a fever could kill. Infant mortality was high. Skeletal remains show many never reached adulthood. Yet, your people adapted. You'd learn which plants soothed pain or fought infection, knowledge passed down through generations. At Shenadar Cave, pollen traces suggest flowers were placed with the dead, hinting at grief, maybe even hope for something beyond. You'd face death often, but also life births, laughter, the warmth of a hand in yours. This wasn't a grim existence. It was raw, vivid, human. The sun climbs higher, and you're already moving, your bare feet toughened by years on jagged earth. Every task is urgent. There's no room for idleness when survival hinges on your next decision. You might be weaving cord from plant fibers, your fingers deft from practice, creating nets to trap small game. Archaeological finds from South Africa's Sibidu cave show evidence of such snares, proof of cleverness beyond brute strength. Could you master that patience, twisting sinew for hours, knowing a single catch might feed your kin? Your group relies on this shared labor: women, men, even children, contributor gathering, crafting, teaching. No one's exempt, and no one's alone. Fire is your lifeline, and you tend it like a sacred trust. Charred bones and ash pits from sites like Wonderwork Cave reveal that early humans controlled fire. 100,000 years ago, you'd gather wood, coax sparks from flint, and guard the flames. Through the night, fire wasn't just warmth, it was safety, a way to cook tough roots or soften meat, unlocking nutrients that fueled growing brains. You'd sit close, the glow etching faces in the dark, sharing not just food but stories. Anthropologists argue these moments forged social bonds, the roots of culture. Can you imagine the weight of that fire? Its light your only shield against the unknown. Your world is vast but intimate. You know every ridge and stream within your territory, mapped in your mind through years of roaming. But beyond, mystery. You might encounter another group, their speech slightly different, their tools unique. Trade was already happening, obsidian blades found far from their volcanic source. Prove it. You'd barter, perhaps offering shells for a sharper flint. But strangers could mean danger. Skulls with blunt trauma from this era hint at conflict. Though rare, more often, You'd share a fire, maybe a mate, weaving networks that strengthen survival. Could you navigate that balance, trusting enough to connect, wary enough to live? Nature wasn't just a backdrop, it was your everything. You'd watch the stars to predict rains, learn which birds signaled nearby water. Ethnographic parallels with groups like the Sancho, this deep ecological knowledge, passed down through songs and rites. You'd sing, too, your voice rising with others, not for art but for meaning, marking a hunt, a birth, or a loss. Engravings on rocks, like those at Twyfelfontein, suggest early humans marked their world with symbols, claiming it as home, yet nature could turn cruel. A drought might shrivel your foraging grounds. A storm could scatter your shelter. Fossils show malnutrition's toll-stunted bones, worn teeth. You'd adapt or die. Could you endure that hunger, that relentless uncertainty? Your body bears the marks of this life. Calloused feet, scarred hands, teeth, ground down by gritty food. Yet you're not a brute. Your brain, near identical to ours, dreams, plans, invents. At Clayse's River, archaeologists found fish bones, evidence you'd learn to exploit coasts, crafting hooks from bone you'd wade into cold waters, spear in hand, knowing one slip could mean drowning. But the reward of fat fish meant strength for another day. You're not just surviving, you're thriving, in ways that echo in us still. Every tool, every song, every shared glance is a step toward who we are. As dusk falls, you huddle with your group, the fire's crackle blending with soft murmurs. You're exhausted, but alive. Tomorrow, you'll face the same dangers, the same wonders. This life, so distant, is no less human than ours. It's raw, connected, ingenious. You wouldn't last not without their skills, their bonds, their will. But they did, and their legacy pulses in you. The stars wheel overhead, unchanged, as you close your eyes, ready for whatever dawn brings. You lie under the endless stars, your breath mingling with the night's chill. Every sound, a twig snap, a distant howl keeps you alert. Your group's warmth anchors you, their soft chants lulling your fears. This life, carved from struggle and wonder, shaped us. Could you carry their fire forward,